Welcome back, friends and adventurers, and welcome to another episode of Lynch Paints, where I, Lynch, will be showing you all how to paint the terrifying and wicked green dragon from Dungeons and Dragons. So, grab your explorer's pack, your trusted weapons, and plenty of health potions as we're delving into the forest for a green dragon. So, as you'll notice, I have zoomed out quite a bit because this is quite a large model. So, the first step, of course, as you can see, we have primed our model in the black acrylic. So, as you can see, I have had to zoom out quite a bit because this is quite a large model. So, the first step, as we normally do, we will apply a black acrylic spray onto our model, just to give it a nice dark base coat to work from. So what we're going to do is, for our green forest dragon, is that we're not going to start with green. Oh no. We're going to start out with a nice deep purple. Going to use this Xeris purple. I think that's how you pronounce it. And nice fat chunky brush. So what we're going to do is that we're going to effectively use it as a wash. So I'm just gonna dip, brush in there. I'm gonna try not to paint my mic. Just gonna water it down maybe just a bit more. And then we're just gonna apply this over the darker areas of the model. So of course with like birds of prey, for instance, normally the darker side is the top rather than the underneath. So I'm just going to start out with this purple. It's almost not quite walking up. So that's a bit better. I can guarantee there's going to be a lot of confused people going to click on this video going, yeah, green dragon video, and then just watch me just cover it in purple and then just click off and go, nope, this man is insane, what is he doing? But all will be revealed later on. Okay, so now that that layer has dried, we're going to take our Barney the purple dragon and actually turn him into a green dragon, which is of course the title of this video. So we're going to start out with some Calabanite green mixed with some Lauren Forest, which is a really lovely so earthy green. We're going to take a bit of each and a nice fluffy brush. Just going to give it a little mix. Mix too aggressively there. And we want to do a heavy dry brush with this. Could add in a little bit of black or a bit of our original purple, as that's going to be like our sort of thematic colour with this, despite it of course being called a green dragon. But it's going to apply a little bit on there. That should help to darken our mixture without using black. So yeah, we're going to start out with the areas that we want our dark green to kind of shine out first. So now we're pretty much moving away from the purple entirely, and we're going to be using a lot more of this Lauren Forest, as we're going to slowly blend it in using a dry brush method to build up the colours to a lighter green. So I'm working in little circles, getting this dry brushing on. It will take many layers, so just be patient with it, and yeah, just put some music on while you're painting along with me and have some fun. And this is why I say to use a big, fluffy, chunky brush, because there's a lot of surface area that we need to get covered. So currently I'm going back over the, ooh, there we go, focus, the first layer of Lauren Forest with the second layer of Lauren Forest, just to brighten it up on the underwings. And the same with the underbelly of the dragon as well. I'm just going to apply another layer. Come on, there we go. If you wanted to use a smaller brush for the arms and the legs, just for the underneath parts, then feel free to do so. Just use the size brush that you feel most comfortable with. Alright, so our big scaly boy is looking more like he should. So I'm going to add in a little bit of moot green, and this stuff is really nice. I mean, Lauren Forest is also equally a really lovely green to have in your colour arsenal, because it's just a fantastic earthy green. So we don't need a lot of moot green to add into our little mixture of Lauren Forest, just a tiny bit, because we want to start out small, gradually build up, rather than adding in too much and then having to backtrack, because that's a lot harder. So when we're dry brushing, obviously the first few sort of first few seconds, they're going to be quite paint heavy, so go for where you know it's going to be very light. So I'm going to start out with the ends of the wings here on the underside, because I know that these are going to become much brighter, and then you just slowly work it up. And then with the wings, I'm trying to get the membrane bit in between the long sort of finger-like appendages. So I'm going to apply this layer throughout most of the model, and then what we're going to do is that we're going to just add in bit by bit a bit more moot green onto the model until we get to our next colour of choice. So keeping with the same mixture that we have, I'm just going to run just lightly over the frills going along the back. So now we're reaching the point where we're using pure moot green for our dry brushing. So what we want to do is again just keep on with the underside of the dragon, making it as light as we can before we move on to our next colour that we're going to introduce after this step. So I have gone for a smaller brush just to highlight just on the inside of the legs. If you will focus, there we go. Yeah, just so that I've got a little bit more accuracy with this step. Is dry brushing just like an old thing now? I mean, not many people are doing dry brushing. A lot of people have got airbrushes now. Not because I don't like airbrushes, I'm just a bit jealous, really. But it would be interesting to see, yeah, who still dry brushes and doesn't have an airbrush. Give me a like down below, all you old school painters out there. Be interesting to see. So, our last few colours that we're going to be adding into our moot green for the vinyl highlights is going to be some orc flesh, which is mainly going to be for the final undersize of the wings, and a little bit of yellow. Doesn't matter which kind of yellow, but I've just got this flash kits yellow, because yellow is a great way to give a brighter tone to your green without adding in white, because I find that the yellow looks a bit more natural rather than using white. White kind of makes it look a little bit clean, a little bit sterile. So yeah, so with this, while I've got the little brush, I'm just going to use it just on the little kind of wing flap bits. Don't know what the technical term bit is, but that's what I'm going for. And if anyone knows what the technical term is for this part of the wing, not the big bits, but this bit, let me know. Do they have them on bats? Don't know, I'm sure someone might tell me. So now we're going to add in our moot green and yellow mix. So I'm going to want, just to introduce a little bit at a time, and then wipe off most of the excess onto a bit of tissue. You know how dry brushing goes by now. If not, go back to the start of the video and replay. So we're almost finished with him, and we're pretty much done with the green for now. I'm just going to go over his claws using some black, in this case some Citadel Abaddon black, and a little brush. And then what I'll do afterwards is just run a line of probably Administration Grey, just as a little highlight, just to capture a bit of light reflection of the claws. So just to add in a slight bit of variation, I'm just going to mix in some Lauren Forest with a bit of Abaddon Black, give it just water down a little bit, and I'm just going to do the spines down his back, because that would add in a nice different tones to the model there. So now with that out of the way with, we are going to move on to his face. So we're going to start out with some Talon sand and a nice small soft brush. We're just going to pick out his teeth. However, before we carry on with his teeth, I had just realised that we need to focus on the inside of his mouth, which is out of focus, which is not now. Haha. And so we're going to grab our purple from before, the Xurus purple, and a little bit of Gene Stealer purple. And we're just going to mix the two, maybe a 70-30 ratio just to start out with. And then we're going to, with the same brush as earlier, nice small detailed one, we're going to pick out, if it would stay focused, there we go. We're going to pick out just the edges of the tongue, and we're going to just use a dabbing motion for this, as this will provide a bit of texture. And then what we can do at this stage as well is just add in a little bit of white, just to help brighten our purples even more. And this will actually create a bit of an effect of the light sort of bouncing off the tongue. So just grab some white scar, and we're going to add few little dabs there, and then just using our light we can see that there is bits there. Okay, just jumping back over to the teeth now, we'll take our Talon sand and our white scar, we'll do a 50-50 mix. Of course, this big green beast of the forest probably doesn't have great dental hygiene, and probably doesn't have any dental floss lying about, so you don't have to make his teeth absolutely perfect white. So an off-white like a cream or even a grey would work really nicely. So moving on to the final part of the miniature is of course his eyes. So you want to keep that white sky handy, and you want to also grab an orange. So I've got this Dragon Fire Bright and a bit of yellow, and of course white, and we're going to grab some black as well for the slit in the middle. So we're going to grab a nice little brush, the finest one you have. Not as in the most exquisite, I mean it probably is the most exquisite brush you have, the finest of brushes, no, but also the thinnest. And we're going to start out with the orange, and we're just going to very carefully work into the eye. So I'm going to take our yellow, again just a little bit of water just to thin it down slightly so you got nice control, and then we're going to work the yellow over the majority of the eye, but leaving behind just a little bit of orange in the corners. So now I'm just going to mix in a little bit of yellow with some white, and this is going to go in the very middle of the eye. Just about there. Okay, so now this is where things get a little bit tricky. So we're going to grab our black, and then we're going to want to do a thin line, have him looking forward, and just curve it. Don't do a straight line, try and curve it a little bit. And then finally we'll add in a teeny tiny white dot. There. And the other now with the white dot, if you do end up going too big, then that is fine. Just simply grab some of the yellow beforehand, so basically just going back a couple of stages, and fill the middle with the yellow. Do another black slit for the eye, and then try your hand again with the white. Alright, so he is, or she, depending on what type of green dragon you want to have in your campaign, is finished. So, just going to pop him on the turntable, and we'll do our little outro. So here we are, we have the finished adult green dragon, or forest dragon if you want to call it that, in your game systems that you're playing. So, I really hope that you all have learned something new today. This has been quite fun to do a D&D model. I've been doing D&D for a couple of years, and I wanted to get a model painted up, and I needed to get this one done for a campaign session next week. So I thought it would be a good opportunity to get my first video done and out there online for everybody to enjoy. This model was not provided by the lovely Wayland Games, although they do offer D&D content and products and bits and pieces, so there is a affiliate link for them down in the description below. But this was from Terrain Forge, from got it from their eBay store. This is not sponsored by them, but I do highly recommend going to check them out. I'll provide a link in the description as well. And yeah, they've got some fantastic models on there, all 3D printed. They've got quick delivery system, and their customer support is very helpful, and they're just really lovely. So I recommend them very, very highly if you are in the market for any D&D models or monsters, or just something crazy to go and paint. So a link for them will be in the description below. Also, there will be some stills of this lovely model for my Instagram page at Link Paints. That will also be in the description as well. I will probably do a base for this guy at some point, but for now he will do. I mean, the base would be quite massive if I am honest. I mean, adult dragons are meant to be absolutely huge. So I also thought perhaps one day of doing some more D&D videos, maybe looking into some of the monsters, maybe doing like a couple of like top 5 favourites of lower encounters and maybe some higher encounters. If you'd like to see that, give me a like and a comment. That would be fantastic, just to let me know, just so I know that there is interest for those kind of videos. But in the meantime, I hope you have all enjoyed this video, because I know I have. And yeah, this is how to paint a green dragon in well, in an afternoon really. So stay safe, stay beautiful, and we'll see you next time.